Hello everyone, my name is Dee. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you have been here before. Today we are going to be doing a very quick message for you. Basically just general guidance here today. Okay, so I'm looking just to pull a couple of cards. As always, this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. If it does not resonate with you, it is not meant for you. And basically, we're just going to do a very quick, what do you need to know right now? What are some important messages that you need to hear type of reading. With that said, we have pile 1 with the blue howlite, pile 2 with pyrite, and pile 3 with labradorite. Hello, pile 1, my blue howlite pile. Let's take a look at what it is that you need to hear right now. Okay, what it is that you need to know right now. Some important messages that are meant to find you. Let's see, pile 2. What is going on? What do you need to know right now? Okay, Page of Cups. We've got the Page of Cups jumping out first and foremost. The Judgment card. Four of Wands in reverse. The Four of Swords. Maybe I'll get one more. Okay, and we will take you the Ace of Swords. This guy flipped around. Five of Pentacles in reverse. So, you know what? We'll take him too. Nine of Cups in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Okay, let me quickly fix all this. Okay, pile 1. So I would say at a base level, what's coming out here is that there's a need to add some more fun, joy, excitement into our lives right now. And it's basically about making the conscious decision to do so. Okay, with that Judgment card. There's a conscious decision to do so that we can begin to release and heal and move on from some of the stuff that's going on in between. So we start out with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is bringing me the fun, the joy, the excitement. The Page of Cups would also bring up for me inner child healing. And basically adding, like, I feel like maybe even, let's say at a base level, inner child healing is at perhaps at the core of this, because we're being urged to go back to joy. We're being urged to go back to finding enjoyment in things, simple things. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant or out there. Page of Cups to me would also bring up creativity and intuition. So this could be like delving back into our creativity, trying to connect to our own intuition, etc. And I feel like the Judgment card is really bringing up how this has to be a conscious decision on our part. Because right now, there might be more so of a focus on the negative. And of course, this could be due to something such as anxiety or depression based on the other cards that jumped out. The Four of Wands in reverse in particular could be bringing up that there's some mental or emotional instability currently taking place, and that there's a need to manage such things. And even with that, we need to make the conscious decision that we want to heal and that we want to recover. The Four of Swords to me is going to bring up that at times our anxiety or depression, whatever else might be going on mentally and emotionally, is something that is allowing for us to miss out on opportunities that we really want to be a part of. To me, at times, the Four of Swords, it can be this indication. It brings up two different things to me. So it could be that for the most part of us know that we need some time to ourselves right now so that we can focus on recovering, so that we can focus on managing, so that we can focus on healing. So the Four of Swords will bring up this very strong message of rest and recovery. But the Four of Swords to me, it can also bring up a message of us isolating ourselves. Okay, it can also bring up a message of us sort of pulling away from what does bring us joy and what does make us happy and what does make us feel fulfilled. And part of that could be stemming from what the Five of Pentacles can represent. The Five of Pentacles representing a lack of self-worth, feeling worthless. And I feel like that's being fueled by by depression that might be overtaking us at this current point in time. Okay, something like anxiety or depression, something that's going on mentally and emotionally because of that Ace of Swords, is allowing for us to not feel like we are worthy of what the Page of Cups can represent, what the Nine of Cups, when it's not reversed, can represent, which is happiness, joy, fulfillment, contentment. Okay, in some way, shape, or form, we might actually be feeling quite miserable right now. We might be feeling like we're sort of stuck in a rut and we're not exactly sure of how to pull ourselves out of it. And I feel like what's coming through here is this focus on joy, as well as a focus on making sure that we are giving ourselves the time and space and energy that we need in order to rest and recover. That Ace of Swords in reverse is highlighting that there could be a lack of clarity. That Ace of Swords in reverse is highlighting that, we might feel very overwhelmed right now. And quite literally by anything and everything. Something that might not have bothered you like even a month ago. Because of the state of our mental and emotional health, it could be completely ruining you for days upon days on end. And I feel like what's very important right now is that we place a focus on our mental and emotional health. I feel like what's very important right now is that we also place a focus on fun and joy and excitement with that Page of Cups. Okay, whatever it is that you consider fun, whatever it is that you consider fulfilling, and a lot of times this will bring up some sort of creative hobby. Okay, some sort of creative hobby, something even like meditation to help you to connect to your intuition. And even perhaps clear your head. So basically what I feel like is there's a mixture. What's coming through here as important messages meant for you, let's say, if I'm just going to quickly sort of bullet point them out, go back to joy, go back to fun, okay? There's a need to address and seriously address your mental and emotional health so that you can begin to manage and alleviate some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing due to it. There's a need for you to know that you are worthy of all of the abundance, all of the love, and all of the joy within your life. And there's a need with that Judgment card to really put in a conscious effort and to really make the conscious decision that we want to recover and we want to get help for whatever is going on here. Okay? There's a need to want to help yourself. There's a need to ask others for help when we need help. There's a need to bring yourself out of isolation and begin to either socialize or make plans with friends and loved ones again because of this isolation. It's almost like there's this need for you to begin to really observe and look at and pick apart what's been going on in your own mind. And for that, I would always recommend something like meditation and introspection. Okay, the ability to really gain some control over your own thoughts, because right now your thoughts might be racing, the anxiety might be a little bit out of control, which might not be something that you're used to. In that regard, it's very easy for us to begin to confuse our anxiety for our intuition. It's very easy for us, if we're dealing with something like anxiety or depression, to feel like we're undeserving of or unworthy of joy and fulfillment and positivity within our lives. And I feel like right now at a base level, the main thing that we need to begin to address with ourselves is what is going on mentally and emotionally. I really hope that that makes sense. I hope that there was some that this was able to provide some insight or some clarity into what is going on right now. I hope that there were some helpful tidbits throughout this reading. Thank you so much, Pile 1, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. Hello, Pile 2, my pyrite pile. Let's take a look at what important messages you need to hear most right now. What is going on right now? What do you need to know right now? Okay, Pile 2, let's see what it is that you need to hear most right now. Okay, we've got the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Star, The Three of Cups in reverse. Okay, so I do feel like this has to do with relationships. Some of them could be friends and family members, but the one thing that I heard immediately, we've got the Tower. The one thing that I heard immediately was stop. Four of Wands. There's some cracks in the foundation. One thing that I got immediately from this, and then we got a twofer. We've got the High Priestess in reverse. We've got the Six of Cups, and we've got the Ace of Wands. I feel like, honestly, pile two. Let me pause this real quick to organize the cards. Okay, so one thing that I got from this immediately, as I was saying before I paused, is the first thing that I got from this was stop idealizing fuckboys. Or fuck girls, of course, but stop idealizing these people that are actually kind of shitty and emotionally manipulative. I feel like is what that Knight of Cups and the Star are bringing up for me. It's almost like there might be certain relationships in our life. And of course, like, now let's take it out of love land and bring it into really any relationship, whether it's familial, interpersonal, friendships that you might have. It's almost like stop feeling like these certain relationships or connections that you have are going to get better when somebody's proven to you time and time again exactly what they're all about. It's bringing me to this message of, like when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I feel like at times we either romanticize or we idealize certain people, and it's really not helpful for us or conducive for us when it comes to us, really being able to live like completely happy, fulfilling lives. And I feel like that's because there's so much stress at times that these connections and relationships are placing on us because we're putting in a lot of the work. We're trying to hold everything together. And like when it comes to this Tower card and then to see the Four of Wands and the Six of Cups right after it, it's almost as though, like the mental image that I got is like trying to patch something up with duct tape. Like the Tower's fallen. If you know what the Tower card looks like, and the whole concept of the Tower, which is like the Tower's coming crashing down. And it's like we're standing at the base of it, trying to duct tape it all back together. And I feel like that's kind of what the Four of Wands and the Six of Cups are bringing me. One of the best lessons, let's say, that comes with the Tarot card, the Tower card, is to sometimes just allow things to fall and crumble, and then allow yourself to begin the healing process of moving on and walking away. That at times there's just too many cracks within a foundation for us to really be able to patch up here. And I feel like that Knight of Cups in reverse, it especially deals with emotional manipulation. It especially deals with charm. I would say could even bring up maybe, again, people that are somewhat perhaps narcissistic or controlling even. Could maybe bring up that we have some relationships or some connections in our life where at times we've been sort of duped by this person's charm time and time again, regardless of the type of relationship that it is. It's like you always leave this part of you open for them because you're hoping that things will go back to the way that they used to be. And I feel like, I'm sorry, because I feel like maybe I should put like a tough love disclaimer on this reading. But it's kind of like, it's time for you to take the rose-colored glasses off. Okay? The Four of Wands, to me, it's going to bring up foundations. It's going to bring up stability and security. And to see the Tower jump out before it, it's basically this indicator of how the foundation's shot. The foundation has crumbled. And although we might be very hopeful at times, although we might idealize and fantasize and hope and wish and dream that things could go back to the way that they used to be within this relationship or within this connection, the damage has already been done. The power dynamic within this connection has already been ruined, let's say. That Three of Cups in reverse to me can really bring up that there's been some serious betrayals here. It can bring up that there's been maliciousness, that there's been just a lot of, for some of us, it's been a lot of drama, and for others, it's been a lot of trauma, depending on what the type of relationship is. And maybe for some of us, it's a bit of both. Okay, if this is a romantic relationship, this could, again, it's really bringing me like these first three cards, if those are the only three cards that I pulled. The main message would simply be stop romanticizing and stop idealizing these fuckboy type of people or fuck girl type of people that are in your life. You know, stop romanticizing them. Stop idealizing about it, because they're not really changing anytime soon. I hope that makes sense. I feel like the bottom of the deck with the Ace of Wands, it's really urging for us to begin to take on new relationships, to begin to take on new, opportunities, to begin to put ourselves out there and get us out of whatever these relationships and connections are. And that's not to say that every relationship or every connection that you have in your life is something that you need to walk away from. To me, this seems like it could be a specific situation. For some of us, it could be a romantic relationship or a romantic connection. And we're continuing to romanticize this person. We're continuing to hope that things are going to go back to the way that they were. We have, very rosy colored glasses on right now when it comes to this person. But the foundation of the connection, this person's true colors, they've already come to the surface. And even though there might be a part of us that still is either finding them highly desirable, and even though there might be a part of us that still seems to be stuck on, desiring of, drawn to this connection, it's almost like there's a need for us to recognize that this type of connection, it could be like a karmic relationship. It could be something that was meant to cause this turmoil and this drama and this trauma. And now that you've been through it, it's time for you to really begin to learn the lesson, because that High Priestess in reverse would indicate to me that, again, not only are we still finding ourselves very drawn to this person for some reason, but we're not exactly addressing what's going on internally and what's going on with us. We're not really maybe addressing the healing process that it is that we need to go through. And that healing process is going to be something that allows for us to begin to move forward toward new opportunities. And when it comes to maybe, let's say, like other types of relationships, if it comes to like a friendship or a family member, again, you're continuing to get duped by this person's charm, or you're continuing to want things to go back to the way it used to be. For some of us, this could be a very old friend, or again, it could be a family member that's been in our life for a very long time. And at times this person's acted very maliciously with us. At times this person has, said or done things behind our back that have really hurt us or betrayed us. And the foundation of the relationship that we have with them is crushed, or it's crumbling. And there's really, almost like there's really nothing left to patch up. There's really nothing left to try to sit there with our duct tape at the base of this tower and try to patch it all up. At this point, it's almost like the damage has been done. And what you're being urged to do is to instead begin to focus on your own healing, to instead begin to restore that stability and security for yourself, to treat yourself with the kindness, the love, the compassion, and the love that you need, to begin to reconnect to yourself, because right now you might be feeling very disconnected to yourself. For some of us, maybe this relationship had a fair bit of codependency within it, and there's a need for us to reconnect to ourselves, to restore stability, to treat ourselves with kindness, compassion, and love, to, again, reconnect to ourselves so that we can begin to explore new opportunities. And that these new opportunities are going to allow for us to really feel either passionate, fulfilled, connected to even others again. And I feel like when you begin to explore and you begin to seek out these new relationships, whether it's friendships, romance, interpersonal, familial, whatever types of relationships they might be. As you begin to explore and delve into and experience other relationships or other connections aside from this one, you're really going to begin to see what, like real fulfillment from a connection with someone else is meant to feel like. You're going to be feeling much more passionate or much more purposeful, and even finding perhaps that some of the connections that you begin to make as you begin to move forward from whatever this situation is, you're really going to understand what a meaningful connection feels like to be in, and that is a beautiful thing. I really hope that this makes sense, pile 2. I'm going to leave off with a bit of a disclaimer, and my disclaimer is basically going to be, you know who it is that I am talking about. This isn't coming out of left field. This isn't someone that you haven't seen their true colors yet. This is somebody that has shown you their true colors, perhaps for some of us time and time again. But because things in the past with this person were excellent and loving and beautiful and wonderful, we just keep hoping and idealizing and fantasizing that we can go back to the way things used to be. But I feel like at this point, there is no turning back. There's been too much damage done by this person throughout time. I really hope that that makes sense, and I hope that it resonates for those who it is meant for. As always, this is a general reading, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. If it does not resonate with you, it is not meant for you. Thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to read for you today. I really hope that this brought some clarity or some insight into important messages that you need to hear right now. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Hello, pile 3, my labradorite pile. Let's take a look at what it is that you need to know right now. Let's get some messages out here that are meant to find you today. Okay, let's see what are some important messages that you need to hear right now. Okay, pile 3, let's see what comes out. 10 of Wands. The Tower in reverse. The 8 of Swords in reverse. For some reason, for me, like one of the first things to come up for me with this combo of cards so far, and then we've got the Ace of Cups rather jumping out. One of the first things for me is kind of like we're avoiding doing something that's really only going to help us. And the more that we continue to avoid doing whatever this thing is, it's disallowing us from getting closer to maybe this new beginning that we see for ourselves. But that 10 of Wands and the Tower, it's almost like there's a need for you to go back to why it is that you wanted this to begin with, or to have your why very close to your heart, so that when it begins to get overwhelming, or when it begins to become stressful, or when it begins to feel like you are maybe like overloaded with work, you continue to persevere through. Because it seems like we're starting and stopping. I'm not sure if that will, as always, take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? Like, take what resonates, leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate with you, then it is not meant for you. But it's like this strong message of it, how it's almost like we're stopping and starting something. We keep stopping and starting. And part of the reason why we're stopping and starting with that 10 of Wands could be very well that we're burning ourselves out. It's almost like we do all of the things. We put in all of the time, effort, and energy. We try to accomplish so many different things at once. And then we burn out and we have to stop. And for others, it could also be that we're stopping and starting due to something like self-doubt or fear or anxiety. And that Tower in reverse is really just we're delaying the inevitability of this thing working out for us due to the way in which we are handling it. So there needs to be either some switch up in routine, there needs to be some plotting and planning. So I would urge something like SMART goals, small, manageable, tangible, time-based whatever the hell the other parts of the acronym are. But if you look up SMART goals, and then try to develop some SMART goals based on what maybe some of your larger goals are, I feel like that's something that would be very helpful for you. Having some type of a better routine or schedule for yourself so that we're not doing all of the things or doing everything all at once, burning ourselves out and then being like, oh shit, I really can't. At this point, I don't care. At this point, I need rest. At this point, I need recovery. I feel like there's a need for us to rather, kind of go back to the drawing board a bit, especially when it comes to our planning and our strategizing of getting from where we are now to where it is that we want to be. Because there's certain things that keep, like inevitably, this is the Tower too. It has a direct message attached to it when it's in reverse of delaying the inevitability of something. And it's like either due to us and maybe fear, anxiety, etc., and us holding ourselves back and self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs, which the Eight of Swords can bring up. If it doesn't have to do with that, it has to do with what this Ten of Wands is bringing up, which is us kind of continually pushing ourselves to the brink of burnout or pushing ourselves to the point of burnout and having to stop. And I feel like the message here overall is basically there's a better way. There's a better way when it comes to either side of this coin, of either side of what's causing the delays here. You could either plan better or strategize better, schedule your day better. You could break some of these goals down into SMART goals. Or with that Eight of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Swords in reverse can speak to, coming out of any stuckness or stagnancy. And part of the Eight of Swords does have to do with our mental and emotional health. So, of course, things such as, let's say, depression or anxiety, certain fears that we might have, certain stressors, getting overwhelmed at times. What am I trying to come up with? Eight of Swords in reverse. Oh, self-limiting beliefs and self-doubts that we might have. The other thing, too, that I'm getting from this is for some of us, it could very well be that we are a little bit fearful of the success or of the abundance that this might bring to us if it works out. And I feel like that's why at times it's almost like we're getting so close to the finish line and something makes us stop, or something makes us fall back, or something makes us what's that word? Second guess. I was going to say double think ourselves. Something makes us second guess ourselves, and we sort of, again, we hold back or we push ourselves back again. Okay? And whether that's due to something like burnout or whether that's due to something like fear and anxiety, even fear and anxiety regarding the success or the abundance that we might be attracting into our lives, could all be issues here. And we could all be suffering, let's say, from both sides of this coin here just as much as one side or the other. We have the Ace of Cups here. The Ace of Cups is bringing me new opportunities, new beginnings. The Ace of Cups is bringing me manifestations coming to fruition. The Ace of Cups is bringing me, abundance is on the way. There's all of these wonderful, lovely, beautiful things that could be happening once we stop delaying the inevitability of this from occurring. I hope that makes sense so far. Let's try to get a couple of more cards out here. Okay, we've got the Empress. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, which I find very interesting here, and I feel like this is where we will stop it. We've got the Ten of Pentacles. I'm just going to kind of leave these cards so I don't have to pause and recalibrate my cards here. We've got the Ten of Pentacles and we've got the Eight of Cups. So what I find even more interesting as we started pulling for more cards is the Empress is representative of self-love and self-care. And I feel like when it comes to this, we need to make sure, especially when it comes to those burnout messages, and even when it comes to the self-doubt and the self-limiting beliefs, there needs to be a focus placed on us nurturing ourselves in order to help us get from, again, where we are now to where it is that we want to be regarding whatever this goal is. Okay? There needs to be a nurturing of oneself. There needs to be a perhaps even stronger connection to oneself. And I say that especially because of the Wheel of Fortune in reverse jumping out next. A lot of times the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is going to bring with it this message of external opinions. And the fact that we might be listening to too many of these external opinions. Okay, so we might be listening to what other people think we should do. We might be listening to what maybe even has worked for other people. We're listening to what people are telling us to do, etc. But none of us is really helping for us to move forward. None of us is helping us get to this 10 of Pentacles. And I feel like that 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck is really focusing on how there's a lot of things per se that we may have to begin to move away from because they're not conducive to us hitting whatever this goal is. It's not conducive to us generating or having the abundance and prosperity that it is that we want in our lives. It's not conducive to our manifestations coming to fruition. And I feel like overall, what this is also urging for you to do, first and foremost, let's say, as far as an important message that is meant for you, would be with this Empress card, you're the main character here. You know, you're the main person here. And if you're not taking care of yourself, and if you're not giving back to yourself, and if you're not at times taking the time that you need to nurture yourself, how are you supposed to operate and nurture and grow and expand whatever this goal is that you have? So first and foremost, I'm going to kind of try to like bullet point the different messages that I'm getting as best that I can. But with that Empress card, it's basically bringing with it, first and foremost, there's a need for you to take care of yourself. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, it's going to be really difficult for you to take care of business as what the message is that I get from this. You know, if you're not taking care of yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to take care of your business. If with this 10 of Wands, the Tower in reverse, it's kind of like we need to stopping and starting, and we need to actually develop a plan for ourselves that's more conducive to us being able to hit this goal. At the same time, though, I do feel like there's a lot here that's basically saying, even when you don't feel like you are making progress, you still are making progress. But I feel like for a lot of us, perhaps, that are listening to Pile 3 and it resonates with them, a lot of times we're barreling forward and we're not checking in or checking ourselves. And there's a need for us to check in with and to check ourselves and kind of knowing when enough is enough. And I feel like, again, some sense of strategizing, some sense of scheduling, some sense of not pushing ourselves to the brink. Of course, there's always going to be a need for us to persevere through some unpleasant moments or some unpleasant things. Like, you know, it's not our favorite aspect of what this goal is, but it still needs to be done. And of course, that's something that you just motivate yourself to do and persevere through. What I feel like this 10 of Wands is bringing up, though, is how we are just at times like hastily and haphazardly barreling towards certain goals of ours, and it's at times setting ourselves back because of us burning out and of us not really being in the right mindset, perhaps, to be able to propel ourselves forward. Because then we get to this point of now being exhausted, of not having any motivation to do much of anything, and then maybe even in that regard, maybe that's when like the self-doubt or the self-limiting beliefs really start to take hold. So all in all, another thing too, or another major message, stop listening to other people. That's really coming through quite strong. Stop listening to other people and start trusting yourself, I feel, is one of the most important things to come out here. Because when you stop listening to other people and you start trusting yourself and your own intuition, and you really are feeling much more connected to yourself, than perhaps you feel right now at this moment, that's when you're really going to begin to move forward toward this 10 of Pentacles, prosperity, success, abundance sort of thing. There's a really, I can't stress it enough, that message of stop listening to other people and start listening to yourself. I really hope that this makes sense for those of us who it resonates for. I really hope that this was able to provide some insight or some clarity into some important messages that are meant to find you. Thank you so much, Pile 3, for allowing me to read for you today, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful day.